Hello, we're glad you joined us here at home today. We've been reading letters and we appreciate your mail so much. It's a joy. I told one of the girls in the office, it's like Christmas for me every morning when the mail comes in and we hear how you feel about this program. And it's our desire to meet a need that I think is there just to motivate you to try. And you know, we don't always have a success, but we keep trying because we know if we keep trying, ultimately we're going to do it. And today, there's a lot of trying here because we're going to do something special with strawberries. They're coming into peak season, and they are one of the tastiest morsels. They're very low in calories. They're very good for you. There's apparently some kind of an enzyme in there that does something for your body that's very good for you. And so I thought that we would do some interesting things with strawberries. If you've got kids in your household that like strawberries, let them eat them. They're good for them. And if you are in a pinch for a good dessert and somebody says, you know, we're going to have a get-together, how about you bring in the dessert? Well, if you've got strawberries, you've got a quick dessert, and we're going to show you what to do with them. I had a letter, and this is really timely because this lady, who's from Wilton, PA, we're always glad to hear from. When Kansas City writes to us, we're glad you write. When Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, Channel 38, our good friends up there, when they write, we're glad to hear from them. And Channel 47 here in Altoona, we're glad to hear from you folks. Channel 40 viewers, we're glad to hear from you folks. Everybody that's seeing us, we're glad to hear. And this lady's from Wilton, Pennsylvania. And she said, you know, I really enjoy all your recipes and watching your great grand program. Thank you very much, which I enjoy, and also can't wait to see every Wednesday night. That's when we're on here in the Pittsburgh area. Your cooking and baking is absolutely great, but I'd like to have a recipe for strawberry pie. Well, my dear, today we're making that strawberry pie just for you. Stay with us now. We'll be right back after this special hint to get started with strawberries. Here's today's at-home hint. To hold strawberries at their peak flavor, keep in a colander in the refrigerator. Wash quickly just before serving.
For updates, pictures, stories, and more, like us on Facebook. To watch hundreds of classic episodes, subscribe to us on YouTube. And to get hundreds of free recipes, visit ctvn.org/athome.
Okay, I want to show you some strawberries before we get started. The fine folks at Jordan Banana Company, Produce Company, they provide all of these goodies for us. And I'll tell you, look at these strawberries. Are they lush or what? Everyone's a picture, and everyone is so good for you. And there are a lot of things that you can do with strawberries, some of which we're going to be showing you today. But I want to encourage you. There are some products on the market. This is called fruit pectin, and what it does is helps you to make jams or jellies very easy. There's a recipe here for a no-cook freezer jam. And if you're afraid or intimidated by canning in any way, I just want to dispel that fear today because this is so easy to do. You measure the berries, you sugar them down, you dissolve the pectin, you put it together, put it in the jars, and you put it in your freezer. There's no cooking to it. So look for something, and there's a reduced calorie one that takes less sugar and you get more of the fruit taste. And also there's one called Shore Gel. Certo is another brand. So look at those. If your family likes jams and jellies, it's a whole lot cheaper when berries are in season to make some. It'll keep in your freezer indefinitely. Bring it out as you need it. And you have something that you have made. There's a certain amount of pride to say, I made that jam. I cleaned those berries that's in that jam. So I'm just telling you, don't be intimidated by it. Get some and try it. Go when you're in the supermarket, go to your Foodland store, you'll find that package and just read on there. It's very inexpensive to do and it's fun. Well, the first thing we're going to do today is make a strawberry shortcake. Now, people think when you say strawberry shortcake that you're talking, you take a whack of cake and you put it in, you put some strawberries or some ice cream. My mom used to make strawberry shortcake that was a biscuit. And I'm using her recipe because this is what she used to do. She used a product called Bisquick. We probably all have seen this. This is pancake mix or waffle mix. It's a a cooking and baking mix. It's already got things, it's not just plain flour. So you take 2 1/3 cups of Bisquick, and you take a 1/2 cup of milk. Okay. You also take 3 tablespoons of sugar. Isn't it nice to have all this measured out? I bet you wish you had somebody at your house that was doing this. I wish when I was home cooking I had somebody do all that, because that's the biggest part of the work. And there are 3 tablespoons of melted margarine that we're going to put in there. Sounds like something's cooking over here that shouldn't be. Let me just move that off. Okay, now we mix this up because this is like a short biscuit. When my mom would make this, when strawberry season would come in, my dad would say, "Well, Lillian, when are we going to have strawberry shortcake?" And she'd say, "Oh, probably. You get me the berries and I'll make it." And that night's supper was not a big, heavy supper because this biscuit is heavy. So you'd want a light dinner. Sometimes she'd make maybe a pot of homemade soup or something light, maybe some scrambled eggs or something like that. You didn't want a big, heavy dinner because this biscuit is very filling. And she would make these, and oh my goodness, my dad couldn't wait. If he'd come in and he could smell that these had been baking, he knew, oh, this is the night we're having the berries, and he would be thrilled. And do we have the milk? Do we have this? Oh yeah, we've got everything. This was a big production at our house because my mother truly lived to serve her family. And foremost to serve God, but really her responsibility to her family was so great. And I really miss her now that she's gone to be with the Lord, but I know that one day again I'll see her. So anyway, she would make this, and this dough should kind of be like that consistency or a little bit drier. Now, if you'll follow the recipe, it's right on the side of the box. They say you're supposed to spread this in an 8-inch square pan, but my mom never did that. See, then you would cut it after it baked, and that's how you'd serve it. My mom made little patties, or little cakes, individual cakes. So this needs to be a little drier so that your hands, it's not sticking all over your hands when you're making the little biscuits. And you have your baking sheet there. And she would make them, because this is going to raise. This has a leavening in it, so these are going to raise. But don't make them too big, because they're going to puff up. Okay, and she would just get her hands in there. That's good. Nothing wrong with that. Make them about like that. Okay? This will probably give you 4 or 5, maybe 4 good ones. And, my dad, he just couldn't wait for this. And it was a big production. You know, my brothers, he'd say, "Come on, this is berry night. Come on, hurry up, come on. Don't be late for dinner tonight. This is the night you don't want to miss. This is berry night." And hardly ever were there any strawberries left over, because you know yourself, if you have something that tastes good, it's usually gone, unless you've made a whole lot of it. But when you make little things for your family, special things, like these biscuits, and it doesn't take much, you know, there's just a few ingredients here, but the kids appreciate it. Your husband appreciates it. He thinks, my goodness, I've married a woman that really knows her way around the kitchen, and you're doing something that you're going to feel good about because you are preparing it for your family, and that's an investment that is worth everything. Okay, so I think we have these just about ready. This made 5. You could probably get 6 smaller ones, but this, I'm doing the way Mom did it, and this is the way Mom did. So we'll put those in the oven. It goes in a pretty hot oven. And we'll put those in for about, let me see, let's do them for about 15 minutes, okay? Now I want to set my timer, because if I don't, they will look like marbles, because I'll probably overcook them. Okay, that's the first one. I'll show you what to do with those once they get baked, all right? Now we're going to move along. As I told you in the beginning about the berries, you get them, you bring them home, you keep them in your colander in your refrigerator until you are ready to use them, because they'll stay at their peak flavor. If you decide that you want to make the shortcake, you need a sweetened berry to go over that, because there's not much sweetness in the biscuit. And this is what the sweetened berries look like. Now all I have done is I have taken, I need a small paring knife. Well, I'll use this big one. The way you clean a berry is you take the berry. I don't wash mine first, I'll tell you why. You take the berry and you just take the top part off. the least amount. You see this? You just take that off, and then you decide, do I want to leave them whole? Do I want to slice them? Do they get mashed? Or however you like to serve them. Now these I have made specifically with a sugar over them, because after you have cut them, and I would cut this in very small pieces if this is what I wanted to do with them, like what's in this bowl, which are really called strawberry, like almost bits of fruit in a juice. You want a juice. So you cut them small, and then you put your sugar on them, and you take a knife, and you go down this way, and you cut through them. You're cutting the sugar into the berry. And what that does, you put them in the refrigerator, and then the juices from the berry come out, mix with the sugar, and you have this wonderful, wonderful strawberry juice. Okay, that's what this is. If you want to slice them and just put them out like this, because you're going to decorate with them, or you don't put sugar on them, because the sugar breaks them down, and you wouldn't want to do that with these. Now I have to tell you, we did these yesterday, and they have held up beautifully throughout the night in the refrigerator. Okay, the next thing we're going to be making, this is a store-bought angel food cake. Okay, remember I told you this was going to be a quick dessert that somebody called and said, oh, what can I bring? This is the one we're talking about here. Now there's two ways to cut this, and to save time, I'm going to do it the traditional way with a knife. But you know, if you have a very tender angel food cake, you can take a piece of string, line it up, and pull it straight through a cake. It's a little harder with a sponge cake because the egg white in this type of a cake makes it firmer. But if you have a cake, a regular cake, and you want to get a nice even, just take your piece of string or thread and pull it straight through. You'll get two even layers. Whole lot better than sawing away with a knife, because it crumbles. It's a very delicate batter. This one is more firmer, and this is a little bit hard to do with this type of a cake. So what I'll do is just take my knife, and again, you want to use a serrated edge knife. That's a knife that has these little bumps in it because it saws through rather than plunging through. So you just take your knife, I'm going to go about halfway down, get it started, and then come in the center. Okay, just keep your eye gauged that the whole way around this cake, you're going to go halfway. Okay. Looks like the biggest bagel I've ever seen in my entire life. Look at that. Okay. So you have two pieces now. I'm going to put the one piece, this is on the serving tray. And you want to put something, you want to present something that's very beautiful. So you want to have a beautiful tray to put it on. Now what I'm going to use here, I'm going to get my Cool Whip. Okay. Told you you're in a hurry, right? So when you're in a hurry, anything goes. Except that nobody opened my Cool Whip for me, and I now have to take a little time, but that's all right. That's all right. Cool Whip is a lifesaver. Used to be you had to whip up the whipped cream, and you had to, sugar it down, and you had to do all this. And I tell you, that sometimes takes time that you don't have when you're in a hurry. So you take your Cool Whip, and what I do is put a layer of the Cool Whip on. Now you say, well, why are you doing that? I'll tell you. You put this on because if you don't, the berries are going to soak into your cake, and by the time you get to where you're going, your cake's going to be soggy. You don't want that to happen. So you just put thin layer of Cool Whip. Doesn't matter if it goes down the sides, don't worry. At this point, in this cake, neatness doesn't count when we're doing this. Then you're going to take your strawberries. You're going to lay them all over the cake. Just, let the kids help you out. Make sure that they got their hands clean. They've washed them. And then turn them loose on the berries. Let them work on it. That's what it's all about. Fun in the kitchen with the kids. Even if Dad decides he wants to help, that's all right. That's good. It's a family project, and that's wonderful. Now, if your kids really like strawberries, or your family does, put lots on. If they don't put so many on. It's just however your family likes it. There's no specific recipe. Okay, now the key is that you want to ice the top part that's going to go over it, because you're going to sandwich those berries between Cool Whip and cake. All right? Now, you say, well, what if I don't have time to get the strawberries ready? Well, you can use the frozen strawberries that have thawed down in their own juice. That's fine, no problem there. Again, make the most. It doesn't matter if you had strawberries 2 or 3 days in a row, because they're good for you, and you have to eat them when they're at the peak. Okay, now we're going to take this part and we're going to put it over the berries. Is that nice? Let's see if it fits all around. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay. Again, we're going to start, get some of this. Time to clean up here a little bit. Okay. This is called a spatula. It doesn't have a point. It's strictly for spreading things. And if you don't have one of these, they're less than $2. It's a worthy investment because it really helps out. We're going to icing this whole cake with Cool Whip. Now, angel food cake has no cholesterol, has very little sugar, and it's very good if people are diabetic. It's wonderful for people who can't eat a lot of sweets. The berries are very low. You notice I didn't put the sweetened berries on it. Well, not yet, I didn't anyway. And that makes it very low calorie. You can get the low calorie Cool Whip and without much fat. I think it's like even the regular is only 12 calories per tablespoon. So really by comparison to a chocolate cake or something, this could be considered a low calorie dessert. And it could be very helpful in satisfying your children's sweet tooth too. So we just icing. Okay. Trying to hurry here because I want to get it all done. So I want to show you how to decorate the outside. Because once this is totally covered with Cool Whip, we're not finished. Okay. There's other things to do. Do on the top. Now I did take a cake decorating, I told you this before, I took a cake decorating course one time. The things that you learn there are incredible. You find things to do with like your husband's old flannel pajamas that he doesn't wear anymore. There's things you can do with that really help your cakes to turn out. Maybe one day when we bake a cake, I'll share that with you because that was the most astounding thing. I thought, well, I just throw them in a rag bag. Oh no. So start collecting your husband's flannel pajamas. It's really important. Okay, I think we just about have it there. Go around the circle, go around the inside. Now, on top of this, remember you would have to keep this totally refrigerated. We're going to put some berries on the top and some juice. Not too much juice, mostly just the berries. Okay? Okay. Here we go. Just let them pile up. Does that look good or what? Crew, does this look good? Does it look good? Okay. All right, there's the director. I mean, that sounds like God speaking when you hear that voice coming down. Now, you want to save some of your nice big berries, some of the prettier ones, because you want to decorate with them. And all you're going to do is just lay them strategically here and there around the cake. Well, that one's got a little icing on the leaves. That's all right. Just here and there. And I'll tell you, how many minutes have we spent doing this? Very few. Is this the biggest berry you have ever seen? Look at that berry. That thing is huge. Tell you, Jordan Bananas has wonderful produce. But just all around, maybe I'll just use this one over here. Because this, when people see it, that's what's going to whet their appetite. What do you think? Is it pretty? There's our strawberry cake.
If you love At Home with Arlene Williams, then subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have hundreds of episodes with all your favorite recipes, holidays, and friends.
Say hi to your fan club.
Hi, fan club.
And don't forget to click the bell so you'll never miss another episode of At Home.
Now we're going to move on to the pie because we don't have a whole lot of time. And I'm going to make, this is a strawberry cream pie. We have our cold shell already done. And this is very quick also. We're going to make some instant vanilla pudding. And this is low calorie, okay? Low calorie. And we use the whip, 2 cups of milk. We use the whip. This will thicken up very quickly. I hope it does anyway. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. It's debatable. But this will thicken up. And we're going to put the strawberries on top of it. We'll use the sliced strawberries on that. That's in a regular baked crust. Let me show you what we're going to do with a graham cracker crust. Okay? Have you ever gone to these places and they have these wonderful big berry pies? Well, sometimes they're in graham cracker, sometimes they're in a baked one. And I was going to put the cream in this, but I think I'll put the cream one in that, and I'll make the big stand-up berry pie in the flaky crust because we want to put a glaze over it. All you do is start putting your berries, line them up. They have to be cleaned. Try to keep them all about the same size. Okay, and we line them up in the crust that's already been baked and cooled. Okay. We just keep lining them up. Whoops. Tell you, get the kids involved. Let them clean and cut the berries. And that's the way you learn. If you don't do that, you never learn. We line them up. They look nice? Mm-hmm. It's a wonderful strawberry pie. And then there's something on the market. It's called a glaze pack. It's for fresh fruit tarts and cakes. And this pie, because it has the fresh strawberries, if there's a few little empty spots, you can fill them in with some more berries or just some slices. That will work out fine. Don't worry. It would really be nicer to keep all the big berries, whole berries, but sometimes you just don't have enough and you've already cut them up like I just did. That's okay. Okay? Now you buy this, it's a glaze. And what the glaze does is just kind of preserve the berry and puts a little sweetness to it. Now, that package, I forget what the ingredients, it's not a lot of ingredients, but you make it, and when it has softened, you spoon it over the berries. And that's what puts, have you ever gone to a restaurant where they had this tremendous, so appealing, the strawberries, they're all shiny and this glaze is over it and it tastes so good. Well, that's essentially what they're doing. They're taking a fresh pie crust and they're standing the berries that have never been cooked into that pie crust, and then they're putting a glaze over it. And once I get this glaze, because this will thicken up real quick, you need to make this just as you use it, because if you don't, when it gets cool, it thickens up. Then you can reheat it like I'm doing now, just making sure, I think we're about there, I don't want it too thin. Okay, now you just spoon. See, the glaze is clear. So you just spoon that over the berries. All over the berries. Okay? Sometimes they use a paintbrush to do this. There are some restaurants I've seen them demonstrate, I should say. But see how shiny it makes the berries? It makes it so much more appealing. And it's a wonderful, tasty, scrumptious strawberry pie. Now, what I would put on this would probably be the regular, like a Ready Whip or some kind of a sweetened whipped cream, that type of thing. And remember, it's good to try to get it over all of them, because if you don't, you'll be able to tell which has the glaze on it, which doesn't. Okay? There it is. Now, I would put Ready Whip on that, and that would be ready to serve. There's our strawberry pie. Let me show you. Our pudding's nice and thick. We're going to put this into our graham cracker crust. Okay. Didn't take too long after all. Okay, and it's just a vanilla pudding. And this is also a sugar-free pudding. We're really getting into that a lot now. That's a lot of things on the market that have reduced sugar content. Just spread it around, okay? Just spread it around, all right? You know, I tell you, always get good to the last drop, okay? And we would use our sliced berries. And this one you would want to make it look really nice because you want a design on it. So it's important to lay them out so that it does look nice. If I can remember which way I'm going here. Here we go. And keep the prettiest berries. Oh, there's the buzzer. I think our shortcakes are about done. And we'll be right back to finish the whole program and show you all of it in just a minute. Let me get the oven.
To get all the recipes from today's show, plus hundreds of others, just click the link in the video description or visit our website, ctvn.org/at-home.
Well, this is what the biscuits look like, the shortcake biscuits when they come out of the oven. And you split them like we have here, put some berries on, put the lid back on top of it, add a few more berries and some juice because that will soften. That's such a really delicate dough. And the crowning touch, my dad would then pour cream over the top of it. And that softens that biscuit. And you almost have strawberry milk, really. Next to it then is our wonderful, with a graham cracker crust, it's a cream pie. Look at that. Does that look wonderful? Next to that is the glazed strawberry pie in the flaky crust. And then, of course, our strawberry torte. And it's always a pleasure to be with you. We enjoy doing these types of programs. And if there is something that you would like to see us make, not that we're great cooks, but we're trying just like you're trying. And if there's something that you haven't seen or you'd like to see, jot it down when you're requesting your recipes, and we'll give it a consideration. Just like the lady today said she'd like to see a strawberry pie, we made 2. And you can do it too. All you have to do is try. I hope that you've enjoyed it. We've enjoyed it. Don't forget to buy strawberries because they're at their peak right about now. And please be sure to join us the next time because it just wouldn't be the same without you right here at home. See you then.
Don't forget to click the subscribe button so you'll never miss another episode of At Home. Thank you for watching.
Fresh produce provided by Jordan Banana, wholesalers of fresh fruit and vegetables in Dravosburg, PA. Cookware provided by Woolies. Your favorite gourmet deserves the best for less at Woolly Balcony Cookware. Groceries provided by Foodland, where the answer is always yes. Cornerstone Television wishes to thank all our faithful viewers whose consistent prayers and financial support have made this program possible.